Hi guys, thanks for watching my channel. Today I wanted to talk about Mars in the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So what is water? Let's talk about water. Water is it's the healing, the regeneration, and our recovery. Water is what nourishes our deeper parts. It feels. Water is our feelings. It is the connection between our heart, our soul, and it's where we find our compassion. Without water, we would be like robots. We would eat, we would sleep, we would hunt and gather, but there wouldn't be a deeper fulfillment and meaning within life. We wouldn't be as complex as we are. There wouldn't be the unknown parts about us, and we wouldn't be connected to the larger unknown parts within the universe in our ability to transcend, to believe in the unknown, to sense that there is something more than what we can see, hear, taste, or touch in a physical way. Water is our intuition. It's what brings us together with others, and it's also what helps us understand our deeper needs as well as others' needs, and as well as also their vulnerabilities and how we can help them. It's that empathy where we can see another struggle and we don't need an explanation. We just know what they need, and we want to comfort them. It's that deeper consciousness within us. It is also our spiritual resilience. Water is like it's our well, it's our inner well within our being, and it's what actually nourishes our soul. Just like a tree roots. It goes down deep. In a way, it's like we could think that, oh, water, it's not a big deal, but it's a huge deal. It's a huge, huge deal because it's not always tangible on a surface level. But what it does is it gives life. It heals. It regenerates. It revives, and it helps us recover on all different kinds of levels, spiritual, physical, you name it. Water can be passive and it can be active. Sometimes when we have a lot of water in our chart and maybe like not a lot of earth and it's like an imbalance, a ton of water, it can almost be like we could drown kind of within our own feelings and our own emotions, and we can become so overwhelmed with life that we don't know what to do. We don't know which direction to go. We can become confused. We can just feel disheartened and just overwhelmed. We just can kind of give up, waddle in our puddle, waddle in that, and just really struggle there. The active part of water is where we can find our deeper healing. It's where we go into the subconscious mind. It's where we reach into other realms. It's where we connect with our higher selves, and through spirituality, through kind of the surrender to the flow of the water into those deeper areas within us. And it's how we rejuvenate. It's how we quench that deeper thirst and that deeper fulfillment within life. Now let's move to the planet Mars. What is Mars? Mars is the development of our will, it's our courage, and it's our assertiveness. It's how we go out and assert ourselves within the world. It's how we go out and take action. It's our drive. It's what motivates us to get up and get going. It's also how we protect ourselves and how we fight for those that we love. It's how we show aggression and even violence. In astrology, there is always, you don't want to be negative and you don't want to say, oh, like this is the dark like Pluto, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a positive and a negative to every planet, to every sign, to every house, to every placement. And Mars is really where we can be very aggressive and even violent. And it's also, Mars is a planet within all of us that it could be a little bit selfish, and it goes out and it gets what it wants. It's kind of like our motivator. So we all have one, and it's the part of us that it is the warrior and the survivor within us. And it's what's helped us get to where we are now. It's essential. It's an essential part of us as humans, and it's a part of us that is important for us to see and understand what the energy really means. Mars in water. When we have Mars in water, this is where we assert ourselves in a more indirect, more mild way, yet it's still very persistent, because Mars is always persistent. It's always looking for the next thing to do, what it needs, how to go about getting it. Water Mars may be less assertive or in your face or noticeable kind of Mars within a person. It's still a Mars, and this Mars is very much motivated by feeling, by intuition, by inspiration. The physical energy within a person with a water Mars is stimulated by the intensity of emotional experience, by feeling needed by others, as well as by spiritual transcendence. Mars in a water house is really about fighting for survival in the unknown, within spiritual territories. And it begins with healing in Cancer. And then it continues with regeneration, kind of going in and doing a little soul surgery with Scorpio, getting down to those hidden wounds within us. That's where you dig. And then it ends with the last sign, Pisces, which is really about release and recovery. And we will go into that a little bit deeper. Ooh, I'm excited about this one. We begin with Mars in Cancer. This Mars is very much about healing. The archetype of Cancer is the mother as well as the healer. And this makes so much sense because there is no healing without first knowing what it is that we're really feeling deep down. And until we connect with our deeper feelings and really let ourselves go there without any kind of filter, allowing ourselves to feel and going in there and really doing the inner work, that is absolutely where healing begins. And that is what Cancer represents. Cancer rules the moon, and this is about connecting with our deeper unconscious self and our feelings, really learning how to nurture ourselves as well as others. If you have a Mars in Cancer, you may assert yourself more sensitively. You may be a little bit shy, yet always there's a sympathetic kind of a vibe with a Mars in Cancer. You're not someone who's going to go out and intimidate somebody. It's more of a, like, how can I make you feel comfortable? Or how can I help support you in an emotional way? Or maybe you are someone who is more quiet, where you may not want to, you may not speak up right away. It might take a little bit of time to get to know you. You may be more passive, at least at first. You're someone who pursues desires intuitively and with an instinct for self-preservation. Cancer is a sign of the crab, and Stephen Forrest in The Inner Sky, he talks about a crab being very intelligent, and crabs have a hard shell, and that's their protection. But inside, they're very soft and very sensitive, and they need that shell. They wait until the tide is at the right place, and they hide under rocks together. And then when the time is right, they make a run for it to get to the other side or to get food. And they go together and they use their shells and they scurry. They don't walk directly either. They walk sideways. They go this way and they go that way, and it's all very strategic, and it's all about survival. And that is very much Cancer in a nutshell, the essence of that energy. With Mars in Cancer, you may be someone who loves to collect antiques or books, anything that's very cozy or nesting, like drinking tea, doing routines, maybe things that your family did or your grandma did. These are all very important to you. And sometimes it's how you help yourself better understand your desires in life direction with a Mars in Cancer, because Cancer is ruled by the moon and moon is unconscious. Sometimes it can be hard for you to truly know your desires. It could take extra time within your life for you to really go, aha, that's for me, that's what I want to do. Mars in Cancers is definitely kind of the mama bear, where you may not see them being assertive until you mess with their family or their children, and then they're like, girl, I'm gonna get you, and then you see this kind of mama bear come out where she's like, that assertiveness will come out and that protective nature will come out. That Mars energy, you will see it. Don't mess with the kids. Don't mess with the kids. Mars in Cancers, their power really lies in knowing that kindness and true commitment and patience is the most powerful way to love. So they're not the type that's gonna fight a war for you or slay a dragon, but they will be there at your home waiting for you. They are persistent, they are loyal, they are kind, they are someone that you can rely on. They are someone who has a lot of understanding, that are sensitive to your needs and to your moods. And I'm sorry, I think that is amazing. So although the Mars is more of a hidden, indirect kind of Mars, it is also a very powerful one, and it is directly related to healing. Moving on to attraction. Cancer Mars, you may be attracted to deep emotional connections with others, as well as a really tender, safe, and protective bond. And that's the kind of person that you would be attracted to and that you may attract to you, because there's a real need for nurturing, to be nurtured and to nurture others. That feeling of being needed is a real turn on for you as far as this Mars goes, because Mars is also what we are sexually attracted to and how we go about getting our needs met. And for Cancer and Mars, it's about being needed, and it's also about your needs being taken care of as well. When it comes to struggles, this is where you can at some times be overly cautious or overly protective of your emotions as well as those around you. You may be afraid to let others have experiences happen to them, whether they're good or bad, and maybe they need to experience those experiences, such as kids. You could be overprotective or kind of like a helicopter parent, or I don't want to use this word, but like a little bit clingy to your partner or your spouse. It comes from a place of love and wanting to nurture, but also fear. There is a fear of loss, of that something terrible could happen. Of course, all of us fear that. But that is something that is important to remember here. Also, you could at times withdraw yourself from social situations or from society or from going out, because there's this overcautiousness, just like the crab on the beach, like hiding under the rock, where you're like, oh, this is safe here, and it's really important to push yourself and to go out. Even if it's controlled, you need to push yourself and make sure that you are scheduling time away from home, even though it is very much a part of your energy with this placement to love home and to want to be there. It's important to find a balance. Another thing is you don't want to be, sometimes there can be an over defensiveness of family. It's kind of like they're my clan, and my clan and me, we are one and the same. We are the same person. And you are still your own person. So it's always important to recognize, although you love your family, you are still an individual. It is okay to be an individual as well, to take care of your needs first and not to neglect your needs and just take care of others. So that is an important thing to remember. Past lives. With Mars in Cancer, this is where you could have had relationships that were unstable and that you could not rely on them. You had to rely on yourself in an extreme way. Disconnected you from yourself as well as from others in a past life. So in this life with Mars in Cancer, it's about learning how to trust again. Finding healing in relationships, in those really, really close familial bonds. Learning how to love and trust again. That's very important within this life. The goal with Mars in Cancer and the things that you could do that will really help you with this placement is to recognize that you need time alone and a safe space that is yours, that you can really rejuvenate in, where you can find peace, where your inner life can really flourish. This is where that balance, where you really need a home. Cancer is about feeling safe, and it's about trusting in life, building a little nest for yourself. On a soul level, this is what that energy is about, finding healing. And we have to feel safe to, one, start recognizing our feelings, and two, we need time alone, because we're not gonna think about feelings if we're distracted and if we're constantly taking care of others. Taking time for ourselves to look into our unconscious mind, to recognize how it is that we do feel and to feel safe doing that. It's very important that you make space in your outer life for your inner life and you protect that fiercely. You need to cultivate the courage to have deep relationships within your life, whether it is family or friends. Relationships, very close relationships, are very important to you, and they're very important in your evolution with this placement. Facing the reality of your own heart. It's 100% emotional nakedness. You need to go there with yourself and not be afraid to do the inner work. To really go there, to really allow yourself to feel. You need to feel without any judgment, from others, from yourself. It doesn't matter. You just have to be raw with yourself on a feeling level. Embracing your sensitivity and learning that deeper self-nurturance. So it all starts with yourself. So you have to first love and nurture yourself. And then it extends to others, where you go out and you can help others nurture themselves as well. Mars in Scorpio. Here we go. So Mars in Scorpio is about regeneration. Archetypally, Scorpio is the detective, the hypnotist. You are someone who asserts yourself intensely, magnetically, and passionately. It's like you are a tidal wave of passion. You really don't hold back, not just from how you feel, but how you think. That is interconnected. Your physical energy and initiative are prompted by strong desires, emotions, and compulsions, as well as obsessions. These deeper desires. You also have a great endurance where you really stick with something. Being the detective, nothing on the surface level really satisfies you. You really need to just constantly be digging, be going deeper. You are very magnetic and you have kind of like a seething intensity about you. It's about you allowing yourself to feel anything and accepting yourself 100%. Really understanding yourself on a deeper level. It's not just on a feeling level, it's on your desires. It's on the deeper, darker parts of yourself that you're kind of getting to know. Like you're a more complex being. This is where we go deeper. It's when we learn the deeper complexities of ourselves. Like, oh, we're not just perfect and we're not just sensitive and feeling. Like, okay, sometimes we're dark. Sometimes we have dark desires, and it doesn't mean that we're going to act on them, but they are there. They are there. We all have a Pluto and we all have a Scorpio in our charts. And so, but when you have an active planet here, and especially Mars, this is where a lot of passion and a lot of intensity goes into digging down into those deeper, darker parts of yourselves and learning how complex you really are and accepting it. That complexity about you is what is intriguing about you. It's why you're the hypnotist. It's why people are attracted. It's not really a seductiveness like what you're wearing. It's that you see them for who they are, for the good and the bad, and then you're like, I can handle that. I can handle it. Give it to me, you know? And that's what's so attractive about a Scorpio, right? Anyone who's known a Scorpio, that's what it is. That's what it is. You are a very self-satisfied soul. You are not someone that can be pushed around. Not at all. My husband is a Mars in Scorpio, and we've been married for 10 years, together for 13. And I can tell you right now, once his mind is set, I can't budge him. He's not going to budge. It has to come from yourself. It has to be something you are very much able to transform, but this transformation has to come deeply and solely from you. You will not allow other people to control you or manipulate you in any way. As far as attraction, with Mars and Scorpio, you are someone who will be attracted to emotional intensity within relationships, as well as very intense individuals. I would say probably individuals with some water, because it has to be on that undersurface level intensity. You want someone, because a lot of this life with Mars and Scorpio is about digging down into those deeper wounds and finding healing by gaining awareness that they are there and that they are a part of you. Going into those inner complexities, kind of doing your soul surgery. So you're really attracted to others that are on your level. They can participate in that surgery with you. It's like that raw closeness where you can really just be yourself. Surface level stuff and superficiality is not something that is probably gonna grab your attention. Those subtle complexities, it's that inner, the water. It's that water, it's those feelings, those intense feelings, it's the intense experiences, it's that deeper knowing and understanding, that intuition that is really, I feel, attractive. And that's something that you need to share that intensity with someone who you are in a relationship with. Within a past life, there could have been a circumstance where you were either betrayed or you were the one who betrayed a loved one. And there is a soul desire within this life to get to the bottom of the truth. Not just in a way where you can learn to trust again, which that is part of it, but it's more in a way of understanding on a deeper level the deeper motives behind that kind of behavior and why. Rising above, you're understanding the motives, and it's about brutal honesty there. Finding a partnership or just, even if it's not a relationship, just having relationships and finding a deeper meaning of life through brutal honesty with yourself and with others. As far as struggles when it comes to this placement, there could be an issue with freedom of expression that is hindered due to secretiveness, as well as a feeling of needing to protect yourself by not being totally honest or upfront in some way. You could be overly suspicious, resentful, and as well as self-isolating. There is a need to really transform your emotional powers to achieve your desires more effectively, where there's a need to balance the intensity to really get the desired outcome that you're looking for. And there just needs to be an awareness of that. You may sometimes be a little bit impatient as well as jealous. Scorpio and Pluto as well, that rules Scorpio, can be obsessive. It's part of being a detective. Sometimes when that's being activated, it can manifest in ways that is also not healthy. So that is important to be aware of. The goal with Mars in Scorpio is about courageous emotional honesty with yourself as well as with others, and really learning how to dig up unresolved wounds within yourself that need further healing. If you're not going to be consciously aware of it, of those needs, the wounding, some need of transformation, that soul surgery, you need to go down there. There's something in there that needs some healing. And that is why with this placement, or with any Scorpio placements or any Pluto placements, it's like if we're not consciously aware or working towards that or digging down, life will somehow find a way to, through circumstances or just the way we feel, kind of just this dissatisfaction, to get in those wounds for us, because we signed up for these placements and we signed up for these experiences to find that healing. So knowing astrology and knowing that it's there, have an advantage to actively go out and seek inner healing and more knowledge, to really go there within yourself to find that deeper honesty. And that is so important, to not be afraid of your natural instincts, whether it is sexuality or just your full range of unfiltered feelings, good and bad, as well as your complexities. This is very important for you, Scorpio, Mars and Scorpio, to accept all those parts of yourselves, because by doing that, you will more effectively be able to do the deep shadow work that you are doing within this life. Last but not least, we are going to discuss Mars in Pisces. So Pisces, the archetype of Pisces is the mystic, the dreamer, as well as the poet. Within this placement, you are someone who asserts yourself very idealistically, empathetically, and with kindness. With Mars in Pisces, the way that you initiate and your willpower is really covered by sensitivity, as well as with compassion for others. This is where, because Pisces is ruled by Neptune as well as Jupiter, it's very Neptunian, it's like, it's okay. It's very unconditional kind of feeling. And with Mars here, this is not an assertive Mars in the traditional sense at all. This is the kind of Mars that is really, and I know I've said this before with the moon in Pisces, I said, they're like spiritual warriors. Well, this is actually the spiritual warrior placement. Self-assertion here can be very difficult, because Mars in Pisces, they're like, the way that they fight a battle is through emotional vulnerability. And if they're not aware of it, this can look like disassociations. This could be you're floating in a state of confusion and not really knowing what your drive is, or where to go next, or how to defend yourself, or should you defend yourself, or, should we just sit and meditate? Mars in Pisces knows that there are no wounds. There is no match, basically, for compassion, forgiveness, and for true unconditional love. That is the greatest power in the world. They're not really concerned about fighting for the ego, and they're not concerned about fighting for the world. It's more of like, it's a fight for your feelings. It's a fight for the soul. It's a fight for the unknown. It's a fight to transcend. It's a fight to learn how to transcend. And you're motivated by inspiration, by escapism, by intuition and transcendence. And that is where, with this placement, it's so important to understand your spiritual side and to connect with the deeper spiritual side within you, with your inner divine, and to learn how to cope with your energies in a healthy way without escaping. As far as attraction with Mars in Pisces, you're attracted to a more sensitive, spiritual, artistic type of person, someone who you can discuss deeper topics, where you can explore creativity as well as transcend to deeper levels of consciousness and awareness with someone. The way that you attract others is through your enchantment, through your visions, and through your really, truly unconditional and accepting aura. You know, there's someone that, like, they see you, even if it doesn't matter what kind of person you are, they see through all the junk and they look at your soul. They're kind-hearted people in the deepest way. They are the end of the zodiac. They're the last sign. And this is not about so much being on earth. It's about appreciating the deeper, soulful, the matters of the heart and the soul. That is what Pisces loves. Mars here is, they don't just love that. They want to fight for that. They want to protect that. They want to defend that in someone else. They're not going to go out and slay dragons for you, but they will write you the most beautiful, the deepest, most amazing poem you've ever heard in your life, or like sing a beautiful song for you. And they will touch you on levels that no one else can really touch you, because they're just so accepting and so loving and so kind, especially when they are walking in their awareness and they are walking within their spirituality and they have connected with their inner divine. Within a past life, you may have made some kind of celibate commitment where your desires were withheld from you in some way, or you denied yourself your true desires. And within this life, this is about, you can bring those two together. Your desires could bond with someone on a spiritual level, whether it is through a friendship or even a relationship, even sexually. You know, it's like it goes to a spiritual level. This is where you want to transcend there, and you have been given this opportunity to move to that next level. It could also be in a past life where you were in a relationship that was very, very structured or conservative, and it never really felt like you had this deep connection, like you were allowed that deep connection and that deep love. So this life is very much about finding that connection. You may struggle with passivity as well as confusion. You could feel overwhelmed by life. You could feel like you lack direction. It's very important to recognize the need for really connecting to that inner well within you. That is really your strength. That is your weapon. That is how you are fighting. That's how your Mars is fighting. You're fighting from a spiritual place. You're the spiritual warrior. So really connecting that with that awareness is hugely important. And sometimes when you haven't connected there, this is where Mars in Pisces, your desires may turn to addiction and through extreme escapism as a mean to transcend in an unhealthy way, or to somehow to disconnect from life, to allow someone else to take the steering wheel of your life and to make the decisions for you because of that lack of a direction, or to, become addicted to other things, not just drugs or alcohol, but to watching TV or playing video games or escapism in a different way. Another struggle here is there could be a lack of energy. I actually am a Mars in Pisces, I will admit that. And sometimes you can feel tired. You feel tired. It's like you wake up, You do like the minimal things that anyone else could do, but maybe emotionally you were thinking about things, spiritually you were receiving things, and there was so much going on internally. This sign is like, it may not look like a lot's going on, but there is a lot going on inside, and you can become easily exhausted. Like, okay guys, like after this video, I feel like I need a nap. Like I'm pushing it for you guys. I'm like, we are doing 3 signs, we are doing this. But yeah, that's a real thing, the loss of energy. And it's really important. There's different things that you can do. One is recognizing that you are motivated by spirituality. Meditation, daily meditation might really help here. Connecting with that, your spirituality in an emotional way to fuel and to maybe even help you, motivate you to write down what you want to do for the day. And then allowing yourself freedom. There's a list of things to do, A, B, C, D. Maybe you want to start from the back. Like, I'm going to do 5, 3, 4, like allowing yourself to flow freely, not doing it in chronological order, things like that. That could be very helpful in getting you motivated and making sure that you stay on task. I know that it has helped me just being aware of that, knowing more about astrology. And so I hope that that also helps you. The goal with Mars in Pisces is about launching your spiritual awareness to the next level. It's really about the desire to penetrate through to new sides of awareness as well as transcendence, and to not be afraid of stepping into that unknown territory. Anyone with this placement, please comment below about your experiences with any of these placements, with Mars in Scorpio, Mars in Cancer, and Mars in Pisces. But when you're stepping into the unknown, it can be very scary, especially if you've had experiences on a spiritual level, because there's not a lot out there to prepare you for that, but it's very real. And with this placement, that is something that you need to do, to ask to go deeper. There's a real need to really learn how to anchor yourself through your connection with your inner divine, and to avoid drifting and confusion, because you are being prepared to really go into the unknown. With Pisces, there is no bottom. There is no bottom. There's no limit to how far you can go. This is about release and recovery. This is where you truly learn to forgive and to purge and to free your soul of all the burdens that you've been carrying. And it's, as the last sign, it's really about you're finding the strength and the courage to truly and wholly surrender to a higher power. So that is my interpretation of the Mars in the water sign. I hope that this video was helpful for you guys. I know it was a little bit longer. I'm trying some new things. I always love getting your comments, and I try to reply to every single one of them. They mean so much to me, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Bye.